Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm here in my living room. My wife has gone out for the day, and so I've turned our living room into an impromptu live stage. I'm going to be testing out how to create, control, and manipulate feedback from your guitar. I'm going to let you know how I do it, maybe some tools to try and wield this magical power, and hopefully we find a little bit of success in creating epic Guitar Hero feedback. So as I mentioned, I have a couple tools to help me out today. We have a compressor from Keeley, an overdrive from Walrus Audio, and a fuzz from Empress Effects. These three effects in particular are the ones that I found are most helpful in facilitating and controlling epic guitar feedback. My bass tone is going to be the lead channel of my PRS Custom 50, the master volume about 10 or 11 o'clock, and the gain at about 12 o'clock. I'll be using my PRS Custom 24 Floyd, who I've named Ruby. She has humbuckers. I haven't tried this experiment with any type of single coil or other style pickup, so keep in mind the results may vary based on your pickups, but I'll leave it up to you to try these principles out with your own guitar. All right, let's start the test. My amp is fairly loud. Loud enough, I would say, to get some feedback if I wanted it, but I'm going to use no effects pedals first and see what happens. I'm about 4 feet straight in front of the amp. I got nothing. About over here to the right. Nope. Left. Up here, I'm getting nothing. Okay, so either not enough volume or not enough gain. Let's see what happens when I crank the volume. Volume, I'm turning up to about 2 o'clock. Okay, so a considerable increase in volume is necessary. I think it's clear that no matter where you stand, as long as you have enough volume and gain, then you will get some sort of feedback, and then it's up to you to sort of experiment what type of feedback that is and try and control it. So with that in mind, I'm going to see what some of these effects can do for my feedback. But let's say I can't blow people's faces off in a club, but I still want that epic feedback. I would recommend a compressor pedal. So I'm going to turn on my Keeley compressor, and I'm going to turn back down the volume to where it was about 12 o'clock. And let's see what happens. I'm going to step 3 feet to the right, see if anything changes. Okay, noticeably lower tone there. Back to the middle, I'm going to step 3 feet to the left. See what changes. Okay, those were three completely different tones. I didn't expect that to happen. That's really interesting. So now I'm going to step about 7 feet in front of the amp and do the same test. Hello. Noticeably more immediate feedback. Even though I'm further away from the amp, I always thought you had to be closer to the amp to create feedback. How about 7 feet in front of the amp, and then wherever I am, whatever distance it is, 3 feet to the right of center. Okay. I think that one last time in that same right position was actually a lower tone. Seemed higher that time. Interesting. Let's go to the left. Okay, so what have we learned so far? There's a lot of variation. I think that's about it. So now I'm going to use an overdrive pedal. This is the Warhorn from Walrus Audio. And I'm going to see if it has a similar effect or a different effect than the compressor. Starting at my normal position, about 4 feet in front of the amp. Okay, that clearly works. How about over here to the left? To the right. How about up here? In the middle, hello. And over here to the left, top left. That was a sweet spot right there. Okay, so overdrive paired with your amp's distortion clearly works, although it is a little bit louder on the decibel level. The compressor was still at a lower decibel level, but as you heard earlier, gave me the feedback I was looking for. And keep in mind, I'm not playing any notes, I'm just getting feedback. We're gonna get to actual Guitar Hero sustained feedback in a second, but I wanna see what the fuzz can do for us with this whole feedback loop process. All right, so the fuzz clearly has a little bit more noise to it. 4 feet in front of the amp. That works. That works. That works. Hello. Okay, so there seems to be a pretty consistent tone type of feedback coming from the fuzz, which kind of makes sense because I feel like a fuzz kind of gnarls your guitar signal into one kind of like fuzzy ball. I could be dead wrong on that, but sounds like that's what's happening. Now, let's get to sustained notes in that kind of Guitar Hero feedback. I'm gonna use the overdrive pedal for this just because it's kind of in between the fuzz and the compressor. The compressor, I think, almost does a little bit too much as far as the compression side of things. It'll give you the feedback technically, but I don't think it's actually very conducive to sustained Guitar Hero feedback, as I keep calling it. I think the overdrive is really where that's gonna come into effect, pun intended. So I'm gonna turn that on and we will see if, based on where I'm standing in the room versus where the amp is, if I can actually manipulate the pitch or the pitch changes based on the sustained note that I am playing. First, I gotta find a sweet, meaty note. I'm gonna try a B on the D string. right, so it seems like right up the middle, maybe a little bit off the axis to, if I'm looking at the amp to the left, I'm looking at you to my right. That seems to be where the sweet spot is. Let's test a couple different notes. All right, so I'll start here in the center again. All right, so what have we learned now? Definitely this right side of the amp, because when I go on the left, I don't know why the left side of the amp doesn't have quite the sweet spot. Maybe I'm like getting some interference from that little part of the couch there, but it definitely seems like this part of the stage is more conducive to that feedback. So now let's put it into sort of like a musical context when you really want this feedback to happen. Oh yeah, epic guitar feedback. I don't know if I really taught you anything, but all I know is if you want to create feedback, you need volume and you need gain and maybe a couple pedals to help you control it. But in the end, it's about experimentation, and hopefully you get some space to try it out. So that way next time you are scoping out your next place that you're gonna play music live, then, well, you'll be able to get on there for sound check and be a complete weirdo just like I did. After all, there are no rules in music, are there? And it's with that I say, keep shredding.